This video is going to be about laws that would mandate drug tests to acquire welfare. And I'm against these laws for a whole host of reasons, which I'll go into later. But there's one question I want to ask before I get into those reasons. What do you guys think of when you hear the words drug addict? I think a lot of you may just think of them as evil beings who want to rob you, steal from you, just to get your next fix. Me, I think of the person behind the addiction, the person who became a drug addict. Why did they become a drug addict? How did they become a drug addict? And I don't think a lot of people do that with drug addicts. I mean, some of them are assholes, but the majority of them are decent people. They're people who made a mistake and they were trying to deal with a shitty situation and they just made it shittier by going to drugs. And these laws are very vague, or at least are vague from what I've heard and from what I've seen of people on Facebook who I'm friends with who have basically said, oh, well, I have to take a drug test to get a job. You should have to take a drug test to get money that I pay through my taxes. And I can see where you're coming from with that, but that seems like a very selfish thing. That tells me that you're not thinking things through. You're not thinking about the humans that you affect. You're not thinking about the families of those drug addicts who might be suffering because their parent is now in jail or is now unable to get welfare. Now, if these laws were drug treatment for welfare, where you had to go into treatment for your addiction to get welfare, that is something I could get behind, because that deals with the root of the problem. It doesn't just cut the it doesn't chop the roots to spite the tree. It doesn't make things worse just to make things worse. And I think drug tests for welfare just makes things worse. Because you're not dealing with the human behind the addiction, you're dealing with the addiction, and I feel that is a very bad precedent to set. And I mean, I think that drugs should be decriminalized. Some drugs should be decriminalized, and I think weed should be legalized. Like heroin and cocaine and methamphetamine, they should be decriminalized, but they shouldn't be legalized. You should go in for treatment, not go to jail. And I mean, maybe it's because I want to become a social worker, and maybe I'm going to be a sucker, not a social worker. But I like to think that there's at least some good in people out there. And when I see people say they should have to get a drug test to get welfare, it speaks volumes to me. They don't really give a shit about their fellow man or woman. They don't. Because where are those people going to go when they fail that drug test? Are they going to go in jail because drugs are criminalized? Are they going to go into a treatment plan, or are they just going to be thrown back on the streets to do what they do and quite possibly rob you for money to go get drugs? I'm free for a discussion about this, but I don't think you're going to be able to change my mind. I'm open for anything. If you can show me some evidence that would sway me, I'd be willing to change my opinion. But since I feel so strongly about this, it's unlikely. But if you want to have a discussion, if you want to send me a video response, I'll accept it. If you want to send me a comment, I'll read it and I'll have a discussion in the comments. or I'll actually respond to your video response if you send me a video response. And I think Cardinal Virtue said it best when he addressed welfare. Not specifically drug abuse, but welfare in general, and that is, you'll see what you want to see. If you think that all these people on welfare are just evil people who are spending their food stamps on things or money on things that they shouldn't be spent on, that's what you're going to see. You're not going to see the person who is just striving to survive. You're going to see the welfare queens and kings, not the people who are just scratching along on the ground, trying to fight for a scrap of food. You're not going to see those people. And with drug testing for welfare, you're not treating the problem, you're treating a symptom. And you should be treating the disease, not the symptom. You should be treating the drug addicts, not throwing them in jail and possibly making things fucking worse. That's all I've got to say about this. Send me video responses, send me comments, and I'll respond. Peace out.